Hello everyone, it's Nazia Begum here, your physics lecturer, welcoming you all in today's lecture. This is the first lecture in online class for class 11th, okay? And today we are going to start our chapter 1, Introduction to Physics. But before starting the chapter, let me tell you about the books. So for physics, CBSE has prescribed NCERT books, but in NCERT books, all the topics are given in very compact form. So if you want to study in detail, okay, so you have to buy SL Arora's book. But don't buy that one in which all the chapters are given together in one book. Okay, one book of SL Arora is given in compact form and another type is given as first volume and second volume. So you buy that one in which the whole syllabus of class 11th is divided in first volume and second volume. So basically two books you have to buy for physics. Okay, SL Arora's two books you have to buy, first volume and second volume. Because in that book all the topics are discussed in a detailed manner and so many types of numericals, conceptual problems and some numericals related to competitive exams are also given there. So those students who wants to appear in any type of competitive exam, you must buy SL Arora book. Okay, now let's start chapter 1, Introduction to Physics. So as this period of corona is going on, so CBSE has reduced the syllabus of class 11th also. So in chapter 1 we basically have to discuss about four type of forces and some laws of conservation. Okay, here you can see first topic of this chapter is written the age of science. So I don't think we have to discuss so much about it because in everyday life now we all know that how science plays an important role. Okay, so you all know that in communication, in health, in every field of life and now in study also it is playing a very important role. So let's not discuss so much about it because I know that you all know everything about age of science. Then here second topic is given the scientific method. Okay, so what is the meaning of scientific method? First of all, to do a work in scientific method you must have a scientific attitude. Okay, so what is a scientific attitude? This attitude involves looking at a phenomena with an open-minded approach to solve a problem without neglecting any important point of view for no reason. Okay, so that means in scientific attitude you must have observing power. Okay, you observe the things, you find out the result out of your observation, but that result should be based on some logical reasons. Okay, whatever things you are concluding should be based on some logical and reasoning things, not only on perceptions and all. Okay, you can use perception also, but that perception should be practically possible. Then the second thing in scientific method is systematic attempt. Okay, so when you have a scientific attitude, after that your next step is systematic attempt or systematic approach to the phenomena. Whatever phenomena you are going to study, you should approach it in a very systematic manner. And then step by step, you should approach to study the phenomena and find out your conclusion. So here you can see some statements are written in a block diagram. So the first one is systematic observation through controlled experiments. Second step is studying observation and looking for the logical behavior based upon qualitative and quantitative reasoning. Third, suggesting a mathematical model which accounts for observed behavior. Then, theoretical prediction of what is not observed in experiment but could be possible. Then, verification or falsification of model and modification of theory. Now let me explain you what these lines actually means. So first one is systematic observation. So here we observe anything, then studying observations and looking for their logical behavior. Whenever we read any phenomena, we should try to find out the reason behind that. Then third thing is mathematical model. In mathematical model, we try to derive formulas, or we can say equations, for whatever reasons we have concluded for a particular phenomena. Then next, theoretical prediction. In theoretical prediction, we see that whatever formula we have derived is suitable for which type of situations. In different situations, how that formula will work. Then verification or falsification of model and modification. In that last step, we verify the model or the equations that we have derived, and we try to think that on what phenomena that equation or that model can be applicable, and in what situations or what conditions it is not applicable. The situations in which it is not applicable is called falsification of model. Okay. In one more interesting topic, there is written physics and its relation with other sciences. So, my dear students, when you will buy the SL Arora 1, you can read it in detail that how physics is related to other sciences. Here, I will tell you in very short, because this chapter is fully theory based. That's why we are not going to read each and every line, but I will explain you the main extract of the topics. So in the relation with other subjects, first we can see physics and its relation with chemistry. So you can see that in chemistry, whatever things we are explaining, okay, whatever models of molecules and nucleus, etc., chemical bonding, compound structure, in all that thing physics is used there. Okay, and so many things are there in physics, so many machines are there in physics which have been developed and made simpler and advanced with the help of physics only, like X-ray diffraction, radioactivity, electron microscopy. These phenomena are related to physics and they are widely used in chemistry. Then next is physics and its relation with biology. So for that, I don't think I have to explain you in detail that all the medical tools we are using in biology, the microscopes, the slides, and whatever techniques are for detecting different type of animals and plants and all. Okay, if we have to check something, so machines we are using, so all that things are related to physics. Okay, MRI is widely used, electron microscopy, endoscopy, then ultraviolet radiations used in the therapy of cancer and all. So all these things involve physics. Next is physics and its relation with technology. So here application of physics and its principle in practical situation is called technology. Okay, so as the definition of technology only tells that it is basically the application of physics. So here physics plays very vital and important role. Okay, all the computers, all the machines, whatever high-tech devices, remote sensing, everything whatever we use that are based on the rules of physics. When the rules of physics are applied practically, they are called technology. Then we move to impact of physics on society. So as we have already discussed that physics plays very important role in the field of medical. Then it also plays a very important role in the field of communication and all. Internet, television, radio, satellite, mobile phones. Then in transportation we are using so many machines and cars, etc., engine. Okay, and many kind of new energy sources are being developed with the help of physics. In the field of agriculture also, so many machines we are using. Then in industrialization, to improve the industrialization, so many machines are used, electronic, lasers, computers. So these all things we are using in our day to day life, they all are related to physics. And sorry students for the noise around when you are listening the video, because the place where I am living is so much noisy, and I am really very sorry if these things disturb you. Okay, so this is first part of today's lecture. Next topic we will discuss in second part.